What's up, everyone? Welcome to Tam's Psych Advice. I'm Tamara, and this message is for ENFJs and ISTJs. It's time. What are you waiting for? This might be for you now, or it could be for you in the future. It's time to tweak your traditions. Get away from your limited belief systems. Limits make you miss your calling in life. You have to have a system to fight a system. And there are all kinds of systems out there. There are systems in your jobs, there are systems in your home, there are things that are going your way, and there are things that may not be going your way. There may be things that are holding you back. And that's what I want you to face today. What's holding you back? What's keeping you from your promises? What's keeping you from excelling? What's keeping you from exercising the best part of your ENFJ or your ISTJ? You got to tap back into those personality traits that make you strong. ISTJs, you are dutiful. You are hard workers. You don't mind hard work. You are tenacious. You push through. You are a rule follower. All of those things serve to make you better and propel you forward. But why are you being held back? ENFJs, you're a great leader. You know how to make sense of things. You know how to take in wisdom, knowledge of other people, and then create a way to make things go well, to do things adequately, to make it make sense. You are good at that. You understand people. And yet, some of these people that you understand are hindering you. They're in your way. You know it. But what's happening here? So you have to get people out of your way. And this goes for both of you. People are in your way. And sometimes it takes everything you've got to not let their ideas or their way of doing things stifle you from being the successful person that you're meant to be. So you might have to be creative, innovative. You might have to give up on some things and go for some new things, but you want to maximize your life. And even with failures, there are things that you can learn from those things. And you can also learn from things that aren't going so well. So there's a benefit to everything. But sometimes you got to go around the people and look high above them if what they're doing is holding you back. If what they're doing is holding a system back, a system that was working, now it's broken. Sometimes there can be a broken system that needs fixing. All of those things are great, but sometimes there are people who have a different agenda. So you have untapped potential, ISTJs and ENFJs, that have been tampered and interfered with because of people's selfish intentions. You're not selfish and self-centered, but a lot of people in this world are. There are people who have learned to fight for everything they've got, and they will push you down in order to get where they're going. And sometimes, if you're a really good person, you'll let them push you down. Ask yourself why and be honest. You've got to set your goal and the way you want to do things and keep going towards it no matter what. You can't let the nuances of people and their strange strategies get in your way. Sometimes it is important to stand still, watch, and pay attention And no, it's not always the case that you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to be compliant. But don't let those people get you down, bring you down, make you turn into someone that you're not. Sometimes moving forward means taking a back seat to people's agendas. Instead of swimming, float. Be water. You know what water does? It flows. And when you try to go against it, sometimes you create a barrier and a wall. So you don't want to go against it necessarily. You just need to get out of the way of negativity or things that are coming, or somebody's bad behavior or their negative belief system. Move out of the way. If you see people that are psychologically abusing other people, get out of the way. They will eventually fall. Have you ever done your best and got nowhere because you were on someone else's senseless agenda? Stop working so hard, putting your best foot forward for someone's senseless agenda, running yourself ragged, and you know that you're running yourself ragged for nothing because you're not getting anywhere. Something doesn't make sense. Figure out ways to nod your head, yes, and sometimes you might even have to pretend, but you have to figure out a way to psychologically distance and escape, make yourself happy, and figure out, how do I get out of this mess? Some of you are in this interesting experience or dilemma now. So ask yourself, why do you tire yourself out for moves that will make no impact in the long run? As people play you like a fiddle with their sticky ways, as you put playing the role of good girl or good boy above everything else, including what makes logical sense and what makes you happy. You're running yourself ragged for hidden agendas and people who care about nothing but their own accolades. ENFJs and ISTJs really have no patience when it comes to situations going nowhere. That doesn't mean that they can't be laid back and enjoy some aspects of life, but when they're forced into situations that are not making any sense to them, it's super draining and it's agitating. But the problem is they can be hyper loyal, and that can be a problem. So ISTJs and ENFJs, you see more than that. You are more than that. Stop letting cloudy skies loom over you and move into the sunlight where you can beam, glisten, and shine and be the person that you're meant to be with all of your gifts and talents. Sometimes people don't even see your talents because their tactics and schemes are so stifling and strong and overpowering that you just find yourself giving up, going on this useless journey. And man, a lot of people are missing out. These two amazing personality types actually care about people and building and working inside systems that make sense and take care of everyone involved. How can we change the world and impact it to make it better? Tearing it down is a waste of everyone's time, and they see this. Conflict is okay as long as it's designed to make things better and to make things work and to create something that is going to be better. That's okay. Sometimes we don't always agree. This is not about people agreeing or disagreeing. This is about something far greater and far more destructive. And you don't want someone to mess up your psyche because they're operating and functioning from a place that is very different, a place of survivorship, a place of I'm just here for a few minutes and give me what I need. Let me use you or someone else, and then I'm gone because I got what I wanted. Too many people are allowed to destroy instead of build up. And this goes against everything ENFJs and ISTJs believe in, and yet they are easily abused and used because so strong is their desire to please and not make waves. But you can be torn down and not use your talents and gifts for folks who are not well intentioned. As much as you can see through people, you can still allow people to mistreat you in ways that they shouldn't. You see through their tactics, but you're too worn down to fight it. So when does this stop? There are some ENFJs and ISTJs that are like, what are you talking about? Because you've been fortunate enough to be around healthy people that don't use and abuse, but there's a great deal of the world that doesn't function this way. As an ENFJ myself, I can just say that it's not that I can't be lazy. It's not that I can't take a back seat. It's not that I don't like relaxing and doing absolutely nothing sometimes. And hey, that's awesome, loving it. But when I am in a situation where everybody needs to be able to swim and everybody needs a foundation to do what they do, I believe in an organization that everyone should be allowed to use their gifts to make things better. I don't believe that everybody in the organization should act like an ENFJ if that's not how they're going to best execute. I want them to be their best MBTI, and I want to get out of their way and see what they can do. Now, if there's a person who is destructive, I really want them out of the way. And here's something interesting. I saw this video. It was a video on a country that had slums, and they had this road where their solution was to put two people in the middle of cars driving super fast with no direction. So all of our roads, or most of our roads, have drawn lines. We know that you can go this way or you can go the opposite way. We have traffic lights, all of these things that we in the United States can take for granted at times. And yet there are places where they have these dirt roads where everybody is driving as fast as they can in circles and zigzags, backwards and forwards, and they have these people standing in the middle of the street, of the quote-unquote street, trying to direct traffic, which looked extremely dangerous. The ENFJ in me watches things like that and just itches to fix it. And I am so grateful and appreciative and also humbled by the fact that with the invention of cars came the need to invent roadways that are functional and that work. And that's how I think in life, especially in a workplace, an organization, a church, whatever it is. That's just one small example of a system that works and a system that doesn't work. And why isn't that system working? You know, you have to think about poverty, you have to think about leadership, you have to think about resources and direction. I don't want to be in a system that's going in circles, zigzags, counterproductive, dangerous. It's not safe. It's not helping the people in it to thrive. And I think ISTJs, they want to thrive. They might be a quieter type, but they can be quite, I will say, powerfully creative. Like, you will be amazed at you think an ISTJ is a very straightforward, the most straight-laced type you can get, but many of them are very right-brained and incredibly creative given the opportunity, when they're not stifled or having to quietly suffer through chaos. That's not them. But they will dig in deep and stay because they have something in their DNA that makes them very loyal, steadfast, stay with it, stay in there. It's not going to be better on the other side. And I'm challenging you to think differently. And if you're watching this video and you're neither of these types, I'm challenging you too. Get out of your own way and get out of the way of people and situations that bring you down. I think ENFJs and ISTJs can be confused and perplexed by people who are not like them, people who are cutthroat and all about themselves. It's okay to be assertive. It's okay to be cutthroat in some situations. I'm not saying that. We need some of that in order to make things work. But believe it or not, there are some people, and they're not narcissists, and they're all about me, 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 me. What's going to be best for me? Well, if you're working with and for other people, it can't only be about you. I mean, it can be, but I think there's a price to pay for that attitude. I really do. So I as an ENFJ, I don't get that. I think sometimes you have to be out for yourself because everyone else is out for self. And by out for self, I mean, when do you get to relax? When do you get to enjoy your life? When do you put yourself first and say, hey, I need a break. I need to regroup. I need to rethink things. I need to get into a better situation. That's when it's okay. But when you're working for, like I said, there are some situations that do require us to be selfless. And if perhaps you're in a situation that's going well, it's going great, you're surrounded by healthy people, things make sense, that's awesome, right? But I'm talking about when you perpetually stay in situations that are not good, that are crushing to the ego and to the spirit. You want to take flight, but you're constantly forced to land and to be grounded. That's not always okay. And we have to accept the fact, well, not accept it, but we have to be in reality that there are cruel people who were not treated well in their childhood, who are out for vengeance, meaning, hey, I'm taking all the paper clips, I'm taking all the pens, I want all the pencils, and I want you to draw and create around me. Sometimes we can allow ourselves to be trampled in thought by the one good thing that they do. Oh, well, they did do this, or we defend their bad actions by their good ones. These people will puppet and destroy anyone who they can to finally get their way, their needs met, to be the center, to finally get some attention. But there are organizations and situations and even family systems where this is not conducive. This is not working. We got one person bringing all 8 family members down or all 5 family members down. You got to figure out a way around that so that everyone doesn't sink in the name of this one person. There comes a time when quitting is necessary, when tough love is necessary, even if it means taking baby steps backwards and dodging and weaving and moving a little bit. When a system doesn't align with you, you're pedaling fast and you're going nowhere, it's time to quit. And sometimes You have to stick with what you want to do and keep pushing forward. Guarantee there will be people who will try to stop you because they need you at their disposal and they don't want you to break free to do what's right. And when you look at abusive situations, it's the same way. You can start feeling sorry for or justifying the abuser. I am so against that as an ENFJ, and yet a lot of people find themselves in that situation. Sometimes it's quite subtle, but you know in your gut feeling when something isn't right. Stand fast to what you believe in and what you know is right. That doesn't mean that you can't take in new information, and it doesn't mean that you're always right. But I think these two types try to be fair and can at times be way too hard on themselves and way too easy on people who do not deserve it. So when you finally get a moment to reflect and have that cappuccino that you've been dreaming of and your warm chocolate chip cookies and you're at home resting, put those people and situations out of your head. Give yourself a well-deserved break. You can't do anything nor control those types of ill-willed people, so stop trying to. You're not a bad person for putting yourself first, because often putting yourself first will cause many other people to benefit and be blessed. Stop wasting your life sacrificing it for draining situations and people. Sometimes it's necessary to look like you're there, but you're really checked out. Stop trying to make sense of stupidity. People will ruin your life and have you grasping for straws, so quit trying to please everyone. In order to do that, you have to play rescue, and it's not your job to rescue places, people, things, and systems. I've had the pleasure of working with people who are ready to be rescued, and then together, oh my gosh, we can make great impact. They're ready to swim out of the shore. But there are some people who purposefully jump in the water and flail, and they don't want to be rescued. They just want attention, or they're so far gone, there's not a lot you can do. And you have so many people who are riding you with a life jacket on. You have no life jacket on, and they're going to drown and sink you. So sometimes you gotta think about yourself. If there's somebody and you guys are going places and you see that it's really working, go for it. And that doesn't mean not showing compassion for someone who needs it. It's just that we can get in the lane of showing compassion to people who haven't earned it and who are hurting others and causing them to suffer. You gotta face the fact that sometimes things are just not working, especially when everyone around you is mired in chaos. When I was a kid, my mom would often recite If by Rudyard Kipling, and I used to know it by memory. And it goes, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated. Don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. I highly recommend that you read that entire poem because it is a way of life. It is a way of surviving. Survivors have to think in two ways. Sometimes you are living in opposites. It's up, but it's also down. You're going to the right, but you're figuring out how to go to the left. And sometimes you have to be in that mode. But yeah, it's a poem for this life's challenges. And what I'm challenging you to do is to get people and things out of your way when it's not conducive. Why keep going in a direction that isn't working for you? You can really mess yourself up psychologically by going along with things that are just totally against how you think and what you believe in and what's best for the world around you. Because there are some people who do not have good intentions. So you have to find a way to fight for what you want and figure out ways of doing things that align with your thinking. You can't be other people. You can only be the best you. And if you're not being the best you, what's the point? Some people can't handle your strength and your ability to be successful and to be liked and to make things happen. They can't handle that. They want you serving them. And if you're not doing that, when they see, hey, wait a minute, this person has talents, oh, that's when they'll really come after you because they don't want you to go up. They want to suppress you. And you can't keep allowing that. It's time to disrupt things that aren't working and turn them into some positives in your life. It's okay to align yourself with people who have good intentions, who are going in the right direction. But those with faulty belief systems, stop wasting your time questioning your own motives and thinking when those people are not. Sometimes you can tell when people are overly conscious and other people are very low on conscious. You can look at people who are burned out versus people who are lazy. Sometimes the lazy people are very relaxed because they are queen and king delegators. I'm not big on delegating. I'm big on everybody do your job to the best of your ability, and there won't be a need to delegate. Delegating can get out of control really quickly, and it can become a system of using and abusing. So put a smile on your face and figure out, how am I going to thrive in this not so good situation? Even though there are seasons, you've gone as far as you can go and you've tried everything you can. It's time to pivot. Letting people make you feel you can't go any higher than you can go. Deciding no one will ever love you. Giving up on your dreams and deciding all your efforts were for nothing because it didn't work the way you thought it would, and so you quit. What are you quitting? When is it time to quit? Never quit on yourself. It's okay to grow as a person, but you never want to just burn your spirit out. You always want to have that glisten in your eyes, and when it dims, that's a clue. You need to pivot, whether it's you need to do something in your personal life that's fun for you, not everyone else, but for you, something you enjoy. Fight for some area in your life that is pleasant, that is rewarding, that you enjoy. There might be a lot of things going wrong. We all are facing many, many challenges right now, especially in the pandemic. It's causing all of us to pivot. We may make some mistakes along the journey. Some of the people that you're working with, they are going to make a few mistakes here and there. That's okay as we all readjust, realign, refigure things out. Sometimes things might not go well. Sometimes they have to go down before they go up. That is okay. But you've got to find that silver lining. You can quit and still be straightening up. Where's your spirit? Has it been broken? There are some areas that deserve a give up attitude and others that deserve your tenacity. Be radical sometimes. That doesn't mean disrupting and going against authority. It means finding loopholes to save your strength and finding new and pleasant places to dwell, even if that's in your mind. Viktor Frankl figured out how to do that. He discovered a whole theory where someone else is suppressed or locked away for life like he was, and yet he found a way to find joy in the most demeaning situation possible. It means finding what's funny in absolute ignorance and menial and trivial. Stop lumping yourself with people who you know are wrong. Stop finding excuses to lump yourself in the same category with people who you know are wrong. Overly critical of yourself when others are trying to use and abuse you. That's not you. Stop letting their faulty way of thinking weaken yours. Don't let bad outweigh good. Keep pushing towards right and what is good and what is sweet and what is kind and thoughtful and warm and fuzzy and happy and making, finding ways to make progress. You will always have haters when people are triggered by the good in you. You can smile and be kind and respectful while making plans. Don't subscribe to others' jerk behaviors. Move out of their way and let them fall. You have so much potential. Remember who you are, even in the pits of chaos. It's okay to go deeper. Just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming and that you can't keep believing and that you can't make it happen. Deflate around nonsense and inflate where it counts. Stop letting people make you not do you. You are worthy. You are important. You matter. You have something to say and contribute in this life. So do it, even if it's as small as a breadcrumb. Ignore the naysayers. Launch out into the deep. Don't allow people to convince you to stagnate when you know it's not good for your well-being, because it's the safest and the easiest thing to do, and the grass is not greener on the other side type of mentality. Sometimes you have to take a risk and you might find out that the grass is not greener on the other side, but that grass was brown too. Just because you move from one abusive situation into another one doesn't mean that that justified staying in the previous one. Both are bad, and sometimes we have to do an internal check and figure out why we're allowing the behavior that we're allowing so that we can stop repeating the same behaviors over and over again. Sometimes the only solution is to get out, and sometimes the only solution is not an easy solution. It is the most difficult, time-consuming, mind-provoking, frustrating, irritating, crazy thing that you can ever do. But without a leap of faith, how does the world become better? How do we improve? How do we keep our sanity? Sometimes we have to try. Try when it's uncomfortable. Try when you're going to make the other person mad. If they can make you uncomfortable, you can make them uncomfortable. Or we can make things pleasant for each other. But sacrificing your liveliness because you don't want to make waves, that other person will be gone one day, and you let them convince you to stay in a situation that wasn't good for you. Stability isn't always best. Sometimes you have to take steps forward and you have to keep moving. Misery to prove that you're not a quitter? some situations and people in life deserve to be quit. Some people never elevate or escalate because they are never challenged. People go with the status quo. People allow their bullying and disregard to work because I would rather suffer than to make the person who is harassing me suffer, or to take the chance that they're going to make it really difficult, or they're going to upset me, or this situation could backfire. Those people never learn the lesson that they are meant to learn, and they never can move forward either and become better people because everyone around them enables them. Why do you think some narcissists become so powerful? It's because everyone around them enables them, and that just gives them energy to keep moving and breaking hearts and making people feel bad and keeping things uncomfortable for others, but amazing for themselves. Somebody has to take a stand, and I want you to take a stand for what works for you. Forget everybody else. Who cares if they don't like it? If they want you to stay, it's because they probably want to use you more. So you got to create a new plan, take the brakes off, unlock the limitations. You've been dragging for far too long. You've been frustrated and tied down, and it's time to launch. It's time to stop wasting your life for the sake of other people. People are underestimating your potential because of your obedience and your reluctance to move. You have permission. It doesn't have to be in a sequence, but just remember, you have permission. So if you're dealing with difficult people, definitely check out my book, The Workplace NaRCISSiST by Tamara Hunter Zyon. It's on Amazon. Guarantee you it will help you through the murky waters that you're going through. And also check out my book, Flip the Script on Love. We're flipping the script. We're making love better and more accessible, and so that you can thrive in one of the most amazing and miraculous gifts that we have on life, which is romance and love. So be sure to like this video. It makes me happy, and I would love to give you more content that you like. So let me know in the comments any Myers-Briggs types or any topics that you want me to address. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye, my wonderful friends.